My dad taught me that he's a mad scientist. If you know me, you know I refer to my dad that a lot. So I'm 4 years old. I want to ride a bike. Now, at this time, my brother is 2.5 years older than me, so he's about 6.5. My mom is a basketball coach and a teacher, and it's the summertime, so she's off with us, but she's in the house doing stuff. My dad works in computer services at East Texas College, so he's at work until 5 o'clock every day. He doesn't always have the time to teach, and when he gets off work, he got other stuff he got to do. My brother is not mature enough yet to stop having his fun to teach me. So I'm sitting here on this little green bike. Most people, when they learn how to ride a bike, they have training wheel, tricycle, they have somebody hold the bike behind them as they balance and ride. I didn't have any of that. Fortunately and unfortunately, people just didn't have time at that particular moment. I didn't want to wait because I'm sitting here watching my brother have the time of his life riding his bike out here in his backyard. I want to ride too. I'm sitting here and I have the bright idea, if I'm ever going to learn to ride this bike, I have to learn how to balance on two wheels. So I began the process of learning how to balance on two wheels. Anybody that knows how to ride a bike knows that balancing while the bike is still is not how you're going to learn how to ride. That's not how physics work. I fail at that, and then I just go right back to sitting. So the next day, I'm sitting here watching my brother ride again. And I was like, man, at least I'm gonna walk around this driveway on my bike. I'm walking around and it's kind of fun being 4 years old, moving on a bike, but I'm still not riding. I remember thinking that my feet can touch the ground. So what happened if I push off and glide? Before I fall, I can just put my feet back on the ground and I'll be safe. So I started doing that. And I know y'all can feel me on this. You know, when you do something that you don't believe that you could ever do, that rush that you get going through your head, like it's like an out-of-body experience. That's what I was experiencing at the time. So I remember having a time of my life just gliding on this little strip of driveway right here. Right before it was time to go back inside the house, I had the bright idea, just like you're gliding and you're gliding far on this bike. You're basically riding it without pumping it. All you gotta do is put your feet on the pedals. Right as I had that idea, my mom called me and my brother back inside. So I remember going back inside of the house, lit. Like, I'm like, ooh, the next time we go outside, I'm about to put my feet on the pedals, and that's the last step. We go back out the next day. I start off with some glides. So I'm like, we're gonna build ourselves back up. We gliding. And I'm like, it's the moment of truth. And like in my head, my imagination is going through the roof at the time. So I got music playing in my head. It's a whole movie going on in my head, and things are going in slow motion. I'm like, you're about to ride this bike. So I push off and I glide, put my feet on the pedals, and I pump for the first time. This is my first time pumping on the bike. So I pump hard and it jerks the bike to the right. I almost fall, then I pump again, jerks it back to the left. Then I pump the third time, and then I'm straight on and I'm gliding. And then I'm just off. And I get to my first turn because I'm about to run into the gate. I turn the bike and I'm just pumping, and I'm riding around in circles on this little piece of driveway right here, having the absolute time of my life. You remember when I said that rush that you're getting when you do something brand new that you didn't think that you would ever do? This is like that feeling on steroids. It's kind of like I'm having a high, like a drug-induced high, and I'm just going around in circles. Now this is the diabolical part for my father. My father drive up to the gate and he sees his 4-year-old son that he did not teach how to ride a bike going around in circles in this driveway, and he leave his truck outside of the gate. And I don't know what he asked my mom, but I'm pretty sure he went in the house and asked my mom, who taught that boy how to ride that bike? She was like, she probably didn't even know I was riding. So he comes out of the house, goes into the yard where my brother is riding, and I heard him ask my brother, who taught that boy how to ride that bike? Brother said, I don't know, and just kept riding. He come up to me as I'm still going around in circles on this driveway, and he asked me, who taught you how to ride that bike? And I looked at him and smiled and said, I did, and just kept riding. That was one of the best and worst things I ever told my father, because from that moment on, he never saved me from anything. And as a child, it used to upset me why he would let so many things happen to me and just literally just sit back and watch and do nothing. But I understand now. He didn't want to interrupt my process of learning how to solve problems on my own, because he seen my ability to do it naturally as a 4-year-old. He was like, if that boy can learn how to ride a bike without ever falling, scraping himself, or bumping his head, then he is cognitively capable of figuring out anything. And to this day, as a 35-year-old man, he looks at me with such pride. It was like, anything you're going through, I know you're going to figure it out. And he don't even worry. And I appreciate him for not saving me, because there was a lot of times to where I'm sitting here as a child, which he probably could have had different tactics, but he just sit there and just watched. And he watched my brain go to work a lot of times in anger. I'm furious at him. I'm like, why you not helping me? But he just sit back and was like, go figure it out. And go figure it out is the theme of my childhood, especially in regards to my father. Go figure it out. So a lot of times when I'm working with kids, I don't use the exact same tactics my father did, but I do tell these kids, go figure it out.